Hi, these comments are for SS, and I am Michael from OTC, OnlineTOEFLCourse.com, and I hope that you and your family have a very wonderful, happy new year. I hope you guys, whatever your goals are, I hope you can make them happen. How about that? Maybe you can do that, right? I hope you had a very Merry Christmas and you completed what's called my free TOEFL writing evaluation service, and I'm getting ready to take a look at your essay. So, what do we got? Here it is. I scored you at about 2.5 out of 5, 22 points out of 30. I think that your sentence style, you should probably create longer sentences. You tend to have a lot of shorter sentences in your writing, and I think that's one thing you can do that can help. But let's look at the essay now. So I think this as your introduction is a little bit too short, right? You might say the reading passage explains or makes three assertions about bears, and the speaker in the lecture challenges each of those points or something. Just a little bit more, right? Notice how short this is. This sentence is only, 10 words. Generally speaking, a 10-word sentence. You don't want to do a lot of 10-word sentences in academic writing, but I know sometimes short, simpler sentences can be used for emphasis purposes, but you don't want to use too many of them. Okay, let's look at this. I'm going to help you edit just one of your paragraphs. And just keep in mind that if I edited all of them, I'd have to make similar changes. So the reading argues that people who live in close proximity, I'm going to say close proximity to bears, are more likely to get attacked. Maybe something like that. So we could revise it to say the reading argues that people who live in close proximity to bears are more likely to get attacked than residents who live far from these large mammals. The article claims that the closer the people, I'm going to say, are to bears' habitats, the more likely bears are going to charge and attack them. Then you might use this signal word here. This is a key juncture. You're moving from the listening or the reading to the listening passage, and a key word like this, in contrast, this argument. I know that you say it's challenge, which shows a relationship, but this is kind of like like on the road you'll see a stop sign or you'll see yield. It's a sign for the reader to show that there's definitely a difference of ideas, right? So in contrast, this argument is challenged by the professor, and to avoid having a comma splice, you can just change this to who. So that way, if you connect two different independent clauses together, that results in a comma splice. You can go to Google. What is a comma splice? Here's another keyword. How to repair a comma splice in academic writing. I just did it right here. So this argument is challenged by the professor who states that there are a number of occasions, and I'm going to change where to in which. Usually where refers to a specific geographical location. I don't think you're doing that here, so in which can kind of do the same thing. There are a number of occasions in which bears and humans coexisted in several places and no attacks were reported. Then you can maybe add this, in fact, and this can help emphasize this next idea. In fact, the lecturer gives an example of a state where more than 7,000 bears lived near humans. And you can say and in contrast to maybe, and in contrast to the lecture, actually we'll say to the reading passage. We're going to do all this in the same sentence. And in contrast to the reading passage, and the residents who feed the bears we can put here, we'll put have not been attacked. We got it. So this is really not a long sentence here. This is 34 words. It's a little bit longer than the one that you had. So let's look at the paragraph one more time. The reading argues that people who live in close proximity to bears are more likely to get attacked than residents who live far from the large mammals. The article claims that the closer people are to the bears' habitats, the more likely bears are going to charge and attack them. In contrast, this argument is challenged by the professor, who states that there are a number of occasions in which bears and humans coexisted in several places and no attacks were reported. In fact, the lecturer gives an example of a state where more than 7,000 bears lived near humans, and in contrast to the reading passage, residents who feed the bears have not been attacked. Right? So that's the change I would make there. It's actually a decent sized paragraph. You got 117 words there. So I think you need to do a little bit better with your language use and your sentence style. Remember that longer sentences played against a shorter sentence every now and then, that's probably, something close to academic writing. So shorter sentences, played against a longer sentence every now and then, no, that's not what we're looking for. So I'm going to give you a score of 3.5 out of 5, 22 points out of 30. Remember, I have a great course. If you want more writing feedback, it takes time. I'll just give you an example of that. I have one of my TOEFL students right now. He has completed 50 independent writing practice tests in about 2 months period. And his writing now is between 27 and 30 points. So he's getting ready to take the TOEFL exam. And he's kind of like you. He started out with kind of intermediate level writing skills, but the practice and the feedback has helped him improve. All right, so if you're interested, I have a TOEFL Writing Bootcamp course, right? Go over to onlinetoeflcourse.com and you can take a look at it. And as you can see, that it is complicated to help students with writing, especially virtually like this. It's not like you can come by my office and I spend an hour going over your paper. It's much more complicated than that, right? But anyway, I can certainly help you improve your writing skills. I provide feedback and scores after every practice test you take. And all right.